When you and I spoke last week, you said Iran, Russia, and Turkey are all major players in this conflict. How do those countries, their relationships with Turkey, change in light of the Assad regime falling?
Well, the Turkish-Russian dynamic embraces a variety of different factors. There are Turkish-Russian issues that go back decades regarding navigation through the Black Sea, regarding relations in the Eastern Mediterranean. Erdogan will likely use the pressure that Russia is now under in Syria as a bargaining chip in attempting to pull concessions from Vladimir Putin on other issues. That being said, the Russian position in Syria hasn't quite collapsed as of yet. Russia has retained its military installations along the coast. It is forming something of a relationship with HTS. HTS appears to be treating the Russian presence quite gently. It hasn't really taken efforts to push the Russians out as of yet. But whether Russia is able to remain in Syria will depend on whether the new Syrian government permits Russia to remain. It is entirely possible that Russia will be squeezed out. Iran is an obvious big loser from all of this. Bashar al-Assad was Iran's major ally going back 45 years. Syria was really the only other country, the only other government in the Middle East that was consistently friendly to Tehran. The Islamic Republic spent years and billions of dollars propping up Assad over the course of his bloody civil war, and now he's gone. They've let him go. There was really no action taken by Iran to save Assad, and given that Syria has been lost, there's really no way that Iran can resupply its ally Hezbollah in Lebanon, suggesting that that position has been significantly weakened. Iran is arguably at a weaker point now than it has been for years, and that will trigger some pretty considerable changes in Iran's strategy moving forward.
If you're thinking about the last year and a half, Syria has really been on the back burner in the international conversation when it comes to conflict in the Middle East. So, that has obviously changed in the past 2 weeks, seeing the stunning turn of events. So what specifically are you looking out for next?
Well, some signs to suggest that things might improve are whether refugees are able to return to Syria. There have been millions of Syrian refugees who have fled the country over the last 10 years. Most of them have sought asylum in Turkey. The Turkish government is very eager for those refugees to return to Syria. And if there is a new post-Assad government that is able to create a degree of stability within Syria, then that will create space for refugees to return. That's a potential positive aspect. If there is breakdown in Syria, or if there is factional infighting between HTS and other factions, that will preclude refugee return. It could even worsen the refugee problem if the fighting spreads to other areas. How the change in Syria affects regional dynamics, as I mentioned, Iran has been significantly weakened. Iran will enter 2025 in a very weak position vis-a-vis Israel, vis-a-vis the United States. Iran is seeking a deal with the U.S. for sanctions relief. The U.S. is likely to push hard on Iran to back away from supporting other regional proxies. Now that Assad is gone, the U.S. will feel that it has greater leverage to push Iran away from Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen. So expect advancements on that issue. Finally, Iran's nuclear program. Shorn of its allies, on the back foot, weakened regionally, Iran will think long and hard about whether now is the time to construct a nuclear deterrent. I don't think they're going to take that decision lightly, and I don't think they're going to take that decision anytime soon. They will wait to see if talks with the United States for sanctions relief are possible, but that will be a looming issue next year, the question of whether or not Iran chooses this moment to build a bomb.
Well, there's certainly a lot to look out for, a lot of conversations to be had later this month in 2025, certainly. Gregory Brew, I hope you come back on and continue the conversations. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Brittany.